All right, and we're rolling. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Tism Report. I am your host, Chris Fritz, and today, very special day, I'm joined by just the best guest here. I am so excited and happy to have this person on this podcast and in my life. This is Nikki Martin. Nikki Martin, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to talk to you today. You're our special guest. We'll get into like interviews and stuff with you. But to get us started on the podcast today, we're going to get into the Tism news.
Sounds good.
So, first article of news. That's what everybody is talking about today.
hmm
This is after from ABC. They have fired Mr. Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, he was on air. He made some remarks following the death of Mr. Charlie Kirk, and I made some jokes about it and at Trump's expense. Made a few jokes that Mr. Trump didn't like, so he sent the head of the FCC uh, to, just threaten ABC,
hmm
and which led to Jimmy's suspension indefinitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that. It's so funny to just get news from different sources and then people just be like, "Did you see Jimmy Kimmel got canceled?" And you're like, "Wait, what?" And then you have to research it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Oh, that's true." And then you find out how and you're like, "That's bananas."
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the things these days,
Yeah.
know. It's all about what news you can trust, what are just rumors, what you can just rely on, and this is real stuff.
Yeah.
So this is definitely just very problematic, you see, because
Yes.
this is on Trump's. Now today, just in earlier today, Trump calls for. He's absolutely against the media. He hates like media that doesn't just I don't know, just give him good graces or criticize him in any way.
I do like that. I don't really watch a lot of late night anymore, but I guess Jimmy Fallon did a bit where he was being censored, and so everything he was being censored for, he was like talking against Trump.
Yeah.
But then like the voiceover was just like, he's a great guy.
Nice.
And it was like, I'm glad they're playing into the bit. Like,
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think it's good that people are aware that it's not yeah, he's just trying to shut down people that are against him.
Yeah, and like we are the comedians, we like
We're the truth tellers.
yeah, we are the
Yeah.
we need the free speech.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. So right now Trump is I guess calling for licenses of TV networks that give him bad publicity. So he is definitely just against them 100%.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting to see what the catalyst is for this because this is an ongoing, like, I don't know, like everybody has an opinion.
Yeah.
And that is, um, it's weird to know that like late night has been going on for decades and then just certain inciting incidences like just catapult a witch hunt, which is what this is basically.
Yeah, definitely. Trump is just pooping in his diapers. He's like, the people on TV say mean things about me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna poop in my diapers.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm jumping the gun with special interest, but
Yeah.
I've been really getting into like, well, it catapulted when I started watching The Sopranos
Oh yeah.
and just the like mentality of like you got to protect your own. We're soldiers, and anyone against us, we're gonna go after. And Trump has ties; his family has ties to the mob, and that's basically what he's doing with the FCC. Is giving
Yeah.
orders, and I mean, eventually it's gonna. I don't want to say it's gonna blow over. That's not what's gonna happen. But there'll be something that will, bite him in the ass and just, well, he like had to fire all of his lawyers
Yeah.
at one point
Yeah,
back in the day.
He doesn't pay him. Like
Yeah, yeah. And
so
money talks, and power and money kind of rule a lot of things. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting.
This is definitely weird. This is definitely like a constitutional crisis kind of thing, if I'm being very honest. So
Yeah.
this is something to like really get into. So
I think that Trump definitely doesn't play by the like diplomatic rules that a lot of politicians have followed, and so people just they are just responding to him being a bully. So that's what
right,
he's doing, and
yeah,
just you know, people want to. I think they want to stand up to him, but they're like not used to playing by bully rules at the
yeah,
playground.
yeah.
So what we just need to do is get a bunch of mean girls
Yeah.
from
Nice,
13-year-old
yeah.
girls, and then they're gonna save us.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
the 13-year-old mean girls. They're gonna save the world.
Nice. Are they gonna like insult Trump's fashion or whatever? They're gonna call him names, or
I don't know, but
they're gonna call him a fatty or something.
I mean, internet bullying has not
Ugh.
worked. So and you know,
Yeah.
late night satire has not worked. So
Yeah.
we'll see what the next move is.
I don't know, man, but if I'm being really honest, I don't stand a fucking chance. If they got Jimmy Kimmel, they're
Yeah.
gonna get me. I've said some really bad stuff about this guy.
So I really do like looking at like shows or books that take place in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think that broadcast, if you think about it, it's reaching everybody, right? So that's
Right.
what's concerning, is that it's reaching a lot of people. And but in the apocalypse, there's always like smaller, venues where, comedians tell jokes.
Yeah.
We're literally saying the same thing that is being said on air, but to smaller crowds, and to we're not being televised. And so I think that what's the word? Like, we are kind of on the same page of how we view Trump, but the way that we're talking about it, it makes it more personal, right? Like,
Yeah.
if I hear a comedian say the same kind of thing that Jimmy Kimmel is saying, I'm gonna be like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, I can still have the same ideas, and they can't shut us all down, Chris. I mean, they can
Right.
try. They can try.
Yeah.
Um, they'll have to create a new agency instead of ICE
Yeah.
to get everybody.
Yeah, and then
But
and then they're gonna fire everybody from that agency, so
yeah,
that's
I
gonna
know.
be against the Department of Government Efficiency or whatever.
I yeah, I think like comedians, we live on this different plane of thinking of like, well, we have to say something. Like, even if
Yeah.
it's the dumbest joke ever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I dumb joke on Facebook, and people tried to cancel me.
Oh yeah. You
But
want to tell us about that?
sure. So a while ago, I used to work for the for a school system, and I thought my Facebook was private, because why would I post that I work at a school and tell crazy jokes online? Like,
Yeah.
smart person. Like, I thought everything was private, and then I made a joke, and people saw that I worked at a school, and so they were just going after teachers that were against Trump and Charlie Kirk. So they tried to cancel me, but it
Yeah.
is funny because I no longer work for that school system, so
Right.
I essentially trolled them.
Hmm.
But they screenshotted the joke, and then I deleted it, but because there were screenshots, they like spammed a bunch of things, and essentially made some people were making like death threats, and
Wow.
just like saying how ugly I was, and it was kind of stupid.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, thankfully, if this happened 10 years
shocked,
ago, I would have been a hot mess. But
Yeah.
I was just like, people are silly.
Yeah.
That's my thing now. I'm just like, people are silly.
Yeah.
They get sensitive. you
Yeah,
know.
things have kind of moved, you know. I think like Trump, like in that Trump era, I think he's just like a troll president. I think
Mhm.
like this is like the trolling administration.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I said the joke on stage in front of actual human beings. So
Yeah.
it's like, that's what I mean about like comedians.
That's
We're
fun,
always
yeah.
gonna say the thing because we just feel so compelled to say it, because you know ideas spark revolutions and
Yeah.
spark change. So I think a lot of people that go to comedy usually know that we're joking.
Yeah.
But then you get the
Most of the
people,
time.
but then you get the people that are like, okay, do they actually mean what they're saying? But usually sometimes there's a lot of truth behind a joke, and we're trying to say something with our joke. That makes good comedy if you're trying to say something through your jokes.
Yeah, us comedians are really on the edge, A lot of people get that. So I guess here's what I've been doing. I joined this one site called Blue Sky. It's kind of like Twitter, but it's only kind of like, Democrats and liberals, and they got rid of all the Nazis. So no right wingers get on there.
That's good.
But
That's good.
yeah, here's a little something. Mr. JD Vance, he actually got on Blue Sky.
Okay.
He has an account.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, when that happened, I was like, just why?
Yeah.
Why? He's a Nazi.
Yeah.
He can't be here. This is a place for liberal circle jerking,
Yeah.
I just love, get off my, I want to be liberal here.
Yeah.
Get out of here, JD.
Yeah.
And whenever he just posts anything, I just get in his replies and just insult him to all hell.
Yeah. Okay.
I just tell him, I just post those JD Vance memes where he just looks like a baby and he's bald and shit. So
nice.
So just whenever he posts anything, that's what is going to be in the replies. So
gotcha. Okay. So you're replying directly to him when he has that.
Yeah. So
yeah, I do think it is interesting though when there's like, this is just for us.
Yeah.
Because that I understand, like, it's a safe place.
Yeah. To be fair, I wanted to stay on Twitter, but I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't because it got taken over by Mr. Elongated,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I did hear a comedian say once that, like, it is interesting that right wingers and conservatives will use a lot of like hate speech and then be like, oh, but we have free speech. We can say all this stuff, and then get mad at Democrats and liberals for doing the same move. So it is one of those things where
preach, 100%, and that's what this whole thing is about. Like, the conservatives are saying just around the whole Charlie Kirk thing, Charlie Kirk just had free speech, and he said all these things that conservatives love, and did a bunch of stuff. So
and then he was trying to control how people got educated too.
Yeah.
Education is so important.
Yeah.
And it's critical thinking is so important. You have to understand what their perspective is. Once you know what their perspective is, doesn't mean that they're right or they're wrong. I mean, human rights.
Yeah.
If you're going against people's human rights, that's definitely not super cool. But once you know what their perspective is, then whatever they say, you can kind of be like, oh, okay, this is why you're saying that. This is what you're trying to achieve. But if you're just my stupid joke it wasn't for him getting shot. It was just wondering about who shot him.
Yeah.
Essentially. That's a fact, right?
I remember the joke, and it was
do you want me to say the joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the joke was, hot take, I hope the shooter was as smoldering as Luigi was.
Yeah.
And the facts are, Charlie Kirk got shot. Now, I'm just putting, perspective on who shot him.
Yeah.
So, Luigi shot the CEO of that insurance company. That's a fact. Yeah. And now it's subjective of, what Luigi looks like, but, I mean...
Yeah. Luigi has definitely, raised the bar for it,
Yeah, and
when he came out, he's like, yeah, we're sexy now.
Yeah.
He, raised the bar for the other shooters,
Well, in schools...
Just we can be sexy, we have our shirts off on Instagram,
Yeah. In schools, they, thankfully, well, anytime there's a school shooting, usually, they they'll tell about the facts about like where and when and how many people. They're not really giving a lot of credit to who shot people, which, I mean, they were doing this a lot, like when Columbine first happened, they like did a deep dive into the two shooters.
Yeah.
And made all these there was all these like profiles about like what the guys were into before, but like since then they really kind of don't give attention anymore to people like shooting up schools, which
Yeah.
is sad because we could kind of target the type of person who's susceptible to do that. I've also made jokes about that.
Yeah.
And that's always a little hot topic. But like with like if someone gets shot, usually they're going to talk about the shooter.
Yeah.
And so there's all these like, what are they like? What are their family like? What was their appearance is one thing about what they're like. You know what I mean? And so to me, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
So.
I think like in kind of like my lifetime, it's kind of changed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess on the news, they kind of just I guess stopped kind of going over the details of the shooter because they didn't want to, I guess, glorify the shooters or the people doing this violence. But I think with Luigi, it's kind of different. With this new guy is different. With Charlie Kirk shooting, it's kind of different because I think with Luigi, he targeted a very powerful person,
Mm-hmm.
CEO of United Healthcare. So
Yeah.
so like that CEO was like in positions of power. So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like just all us have-nots going after the haves.
Yeah.
And the same with I guess Charlie Kirk. He's kind of like a this like I guess right wing. He's kind of privileged.
Yeah.
So he's kind of privileged. So it's kind of going after him.
See,
So,
you
little
want
bit
my
controversial. Yeah.
do you want an actual hot take?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've had a lot of political figures be assassinated, like all the way to like Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Yeah.
And so I think when nobody deserves to get shot, like
Right.
but
That's our take. Nobody deserves to get shot.
But it's a risk. Like when you are in a position of power, like going back to my special interest, Chris, about I've watched The Wire like during COVID.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna aim for the king, you best not miss, because it's like anybody that's in power, people want to take down.
Yeah.
And so I think it's our political system is really fucked because we have all these people that can make all these decisions and have all this power. They're not like, they're really only doing it for special types of people. They're only like using that power for special types of people. So it's
as you can tell, like here's my thing. I'm a fan of Marvel comics.
Yeah.
And I think it was like Stanley in those Spider-Man comics. I think he told us, with great power comes great responsibility.
Right.
And I think that's kind of a real call for these people, because these people, they are in power, and they're not using it very responsibly. So they need to just use that power to just make the lives of people better. And,
I mean, like when I was a teacher, I had to recognize like my not my power, but just like my responsibility. Like I have a responsibility to these children. They need to listen to what I'm saying. They can also challenge me, and like their parents, they're paying taxes. They have a say. A lot of parents have a lot of say in schools, which is great. So I was, I had to be held to a standard. That's why I thought my social media was private, because like I'm not inviting people to my stand up. I'm not like inviting people who have influence over my job to my shows. Like I am my own person. I work for a system that is teaching vulnerable people I recognize that, like, I do have a responsibility. In the classroom, I'm not gonna make terrible jokes, you know?
Right.
I can make a terrible pun all
Yeah,
day
terrible
with
puns,
them.
yeah.
But, like, I'm not gonna, I know that I'm in a position of, like, influence. And so that comes with, like, okay, I gotta, like, check myself and make sure. I do run on, like, high anxiety, and I am always like, is this okay? Is this okay? The freedom to, like, tell jokes on stage in a, in this political climate, I'm like, I have the power to do that. Like, that is something I, as a human being, have the power to do.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're listening to this, hopefully you are already a comic, but anybody can sign up for open mic.
Yeah.
Anybody can sign up for open mic. I've had people do that and just say the worst things on stage.
Yeah,
And we're
I know.
like, okay, you said it, you got it out, hopefully. And, and then usually they don't
Yeah.
come back.
Sometimes I do say that. Like, I do really want to stand up for, like, comedians should, like, have a standard, I guess,
I
for a
know.
little bit. I know they talk about, like, cancel culture, and we're talking about, like, Jimmy Kimmel, and he got canceled, but still, there's one other thing. One other thing about it, like before Jimmy Kimmel, like there's like an entire like sphere of like Joe Rogan type comedians, and they constantly whined about before any of this happened. They whined about like cancel culture, like yo, you can't say this,
Yeah.
you can't say that, make a joke. When in like the consequences, they were kind of like making jokes about marginalized communities, you know. So, like in that kind of sense, I I think just in that context, like they had like some form of responsibility thrust upon them. So
Yeah. A lot of people now, so ABC is an affiliate of Disney.
yeah,
And so a lot of
owned by
people,
Disney. Yeah,
so a lot of people now, in there's like a phrase of like, you vote with your dollars kind of thing.
yeah,
So a
like
lot of,
boycotting.
yeah, so
There actually are going on a boycott. I think.
so a lot of people have been canceling their like Disney subscription.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot about that. So
Yeah.
like they are boycotting Disney, and if I'm right, Disney stock has dropped. I think it was like 7%.
Okay.
Lost a couple $1 billion overnight. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so maybe that'll work. I do hear like a little bit of whispering where they're like gonna be like they're gonna bring Kimmel back like a little bit. They're gonna like apologize for something. I don't know, but that's just really speculation on my part.
Gotcha. Yeah. If I was Kimmel, I would feel that doesn't feel safe.
Yeah.
To like, oh, you have your job back. But then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like, oh, but now I have to watch everything I say.
Yeah.
And like, this is the thing, the FCC has been an agency for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And
but not under Trump.
No, yeah.
Trump's just using him just as a battering ram to
Yeah.
quell the
I
to
know.
quell his political dissonance and trying to get people to stop saying mean things about me. And so that's like his
so
whole
it's
thing.
silly.
Yeah.
It's so I mean we're just talking about like how words have power, but
Yeah.
I mean at the end of the day, it comes down to like your what's the word? I don't know. Yeah, it's just silly.
Yeah.
Like people were making death threats against me. I didn't like I talked to the appropriate people. I like had people call me to see if I was safe. And I was able to just take care of myself and not go on a rampage.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was just able to just like, okay, I'm gonna go off Facebook a little bit. I'm gonna like protect my because people are like spamming posts about I made a thing about Dennis Fogg who passed away, and they were like, oh, it seems like the wrong person died. And then like that's scary. They put like comments about my sister's birthday, and I was just like, what? So, but then, I mean, if I was like younger, I would have been like really like upset. I mean, it flustered me. It did fluster me. And I had other obligations that day, and I had to like compartmentalize. And that's the thing is like some of these people, they hear something about what they're doing, and they can't compartmentalize, and so they just go make the worst decisions ever. And I'm
Yeah.
like, didn't we learn this? How to we have to learn from we got to be a little bit more emotionally mature.
Yeah, I guess so. We've gone through like a lot, so I guess let's get into like you. What are you doing? Like, so I guess let's start off with something, Miss Nikki. I'm so glad to talk to you. I'm so happy you're here.
We've known each other a long time.
Yeah, quite a long time.
Yeah.
So, this podcast is called the Tism Report.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, what are your kind of like experiences with autism or the autism spectrum disorder or the autism
Yeah.
community? What do you
My
think?
goodness. Okay. So, I went to school for teaching, and
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Farmington, University of Farmington.
Nice.
So I studied to be general ed. But then I actually graduated when LePage got into office, and so
Oh shit.
it was really he cut a lot of spending for teaching.
Yeah. That's Mr. Paul LePage.
Yes.
At one point, he was Maine's governor. So.
Yes.
Very controversial figure.
Yes. So I ended up not going right into teaching, and I ended up traveling a little bit, and then I ended up working for an agency that does direct support for people with intellectual disabilities. And
Right.
and
Do you remember the name of it?
Yep,
We
it
can
was
give them a shout out.
yeah, it was Creative Work Systems.
Nice.
And they're all over Maine. They do residential, and they do I worked at a day program, so there's a few day programs in the state of Maine. And so I ended up jumping into special ed. And then I worked as a preschool teacher, and I had a student that had autism, and then I worked as a BHP, which is a behavioral health professional with school age kids. And so I worked a lot with kids that had autism and Down syndrome and learning disabilities. And so I was kind of like a coach for their day to day life during school.
Yeah.
And because I did teaching, I was able to kind of help the ed techs and the special ed teachers adapt curriculum and kind of coach them through social situations and help them handle different challenges like their routines. I help them with, and just knowing what to expect, how to play with other kids. So I got to do that every day, and then I worked my way up from being a one-on-one to being a supervisor. So I got to teach people. I did a lot of work with parents and kind of talk with parents about what they do at home and how school is either kind of the same of what they're doing at home or different. And so we had behavior goals, and we were just tracking how they were doing. I have worked with some what do you call it? We did some of it was ABA. Do you know what that is? Applied behavior analysis, which I'm not a huge fan of now, but it's mostly about compliancy.
Nice.
And with school, school is very you have to be compliant. You have to. I think that's why politics kind of stresses me out, because I'm you're not working together as a team. And learning environments are important, but as I've learned a lot that everybody learns differently, and everybody has their own way of thinking about things. Sometimes people do need a very calm, strict environment. And then some people just, I have ADHD, so I need variety. I need a lot of ways to move my body. That doesn't always work if you're in a classroom and it's silent reading, So there's so I moved away from that. I did become a teacher, and I taught during COVID.
Okay.
So
that sounds tough.
I had we did smaller classrooms. We had cohorts, and so I was able to make my classroom kind of work for my students. And we did a lot of like, we really, the curriculum, because the day was shortened, so we weren't doing like full like 6.5 hour days. So we had to like really focus on like the core curriculum. Um, and I did a lot of like integration of math and English and science and social studies into that. And then we did a lot of like socializing because like kids needed a place to like socialize.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. So I could make that work. And then they all did really great. They read, they like advanced their reading a lot. And then I taught social emotional learning, and that was general ed, and I taught it as a special. So I saw all the kids at two different schools, and that was really cool because the kids that um, either had ADHD or autism or learning disabilities, they like sometimes they did okay in the class because it was kind of structured, but sometimes they needed a break. They used my class a lot as like, this is my break time. And I got that because like the class itself, the curriculum was taught very like not how I would have run it. So yeah, it was really interesting to kind of like meet kids where they were at. And now I work with adults with autism and mood disorders in their home, and adults have all these rights, and so I work with DSPs, which is direct service providers in people's homes to help them, maintain their hygiene and go out in the community and like live a social life, which is really cool because I've ran the gamut. Actually, I did work as a case manager for little kids who are just getting an autism diagnosis. So
Yeah.
I've seen like a lot of ages, and I like the adults that I work with now because I kind of know what they've kind of gone through. Like, oh, you've had to live a life of so much structure, and now that you're like on your own, like we can still be structured, but what works for you. And so I try to help. The DSPs kind of maintain structure, but also like have some choice involved as well, and just meeting people where they're at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to talk to you, man.
Yeah.
You
So
have no idea, like, that's really important.
Mhm.
And, like, what you're doing is very important. What you've done in the past is very important. It's very important to educate. And I think, I know you kind of have a hard time. I don't know if there's a lot of, like, societal, like, pushback. Like, I don't think, like, politicians are talking about it. But this is really important what you're doing. And you need support.
Thank you. It is interesting because I work with guardians as well, and they've worked so hard supporting their kids, and I try to give a lot of kudos to them when I talk to them and give them a lot of like validation, because having a child live, not a child, but having their
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
as an adult living
Oh, yeah.
on their own is going to look so much different than a parent pouring so much love and attention into them. So I validate, like, when you're advocating for your kid, when you're trying to have all these things done, it is out of love. It is because you see the potential, you know what works best for them. I can't I try very hard to help DSPs look at that big picture of like the reason the Guardian is making all these demands is because they've seen it work in the past. We also have to realize like it might stress out it might stress out the client, and so we have to kind of meet the client where they're at. And how do we do that? How do we make your job not super stressful? How do we like still have them stay clean and healthy and safe, but also like maintain the skills that they have? So that's really fun. I really enjoy that. And I love doing my visits, my home visits with them. And I go out in the community with them. And that's really fun. Actually, we just had a barbecue yesterday, a company wide barbecue at Sebago.
Mm.
And one of my clients who he's not around a lot of people. He likes to go out in the community, but he has like certain spots he goes to. And I'm like, you know me, I'm so social. I want everyone to know everybody. And so I started doing that where I start introducing him, and then I had to pause and be like, do you want to introduce yourself to people? Do you want me to keep doing what I'm doing? Because I was like, I feel like I might overwhelm you. And he was like, I can introduce myself. When I'm ready to meet more people, I can do that. I was like, okay, thank you. Thanks for like, and so I do have to be aware of how I show up in the world when I am interacting with people with autism, because like I sometimes run on like pure id.
Yeah.
And that's kind of part of the the ADHD, but it's also just kind of who I am. So I do like having to work with other people and like in any aspect, because then I'm like, oh, how do I present myself in the world? I want to make sure other people feel safe and feel like I can be a resource. So I wish when I was teaching I was more aligned with that, because in school you're very like held to very high standards, and I'm not. I had to always know the why. I'm like, well, why? Why is this? Why is this? And so, but now working with like a smaller group of people is kind of nice, because then I can still be myself, but also just like when I check in with certain people, be like, oh, this is how I have to approach this situation. This is how I have to approach this situation.
Yeah.
So it's good. But then I get like time to myself to be like, okay, you get to do your admin work however you want to do it, as long as it gets done. So yeah. So I try to work hard, and I try to like meet people where they're at, because that's how I would want to be. I want people to meet me where I'm at. So.
Yeah. So personally, I got diagnosed when I was 25 years old, and I made it like pretty far without like any like support or any of that stuff, or even knowing.
Yeah.
And so I just honestly think about that quite a lot, and it just kind of recontextualizes things from my childhood and like things from young adulthood, and I absolutely have to ask this question because we're a comedy podcast, so we want to have some fun.
Yeah.
Is there anything like funny like happened to you at work or doing your job or anything like that?
Whoa.
Stuff.
Sure. Okay. Actually, I just told this story yesterday. So there was this kid. So I taught kindergarten, first grade, second grade special ed. So the kindergartners, they come in with a diagnosis from when they were younger with child development services. If they were diagnosed with a developmental delay, it only that diagnosis only applies for kindergarten, like up until kindergarten. So all my kindergartners had to get reevaluated to see if they qualified for services. And so one of my kiddos, we thought she had autism, and there was a lot of like, she was very rigid. She was really smart, but then she like read at like a fourth grade reading level, and she would ask like, what does this word mean? What does this word mean? But then she didn't have the skills to like comprehend a lot of what she was reading. So, we were working on like those skills. So in my classroom, I did a lunch bunch. It was the best because so a lot of kids with autism have like food aversions, and so some of them were doing like nutrition like therapy. So they would learn how to like how to examine food to make sure it's safe, right? Because like a cracker is going to look the same, and that's what they expect. But like fruit, for instance, always looks different, and so how do you trust it? Yeah. So we're like learning about critical thinking and stuff.
You gotta learn to trust those fruits. I met some apples that are really shifty in my days.
Yeah. Well, like one of my
all my apples say, "Hey, want to buy some drugs?" Shifty apples, can't trust them kids.
So like one of my kids was like, and he's like, you got to undress a banana, and you don't understand what it looks like inside. And I was like, that is so true. It's it's interesting to like see how people think about things. So anyway, so I had this lunch bunch, and then we also did like play after, and so I tried to make it very structured. Where like you have to clean up. You can choose to just sit at the table and socialize, or you can play. And so I was going over the rules, and this kid, she just got very stuck in her head because she was like, "Well, I don't want to play," and I was like, "That's your choice, but we still have to clean up when you're finished eating." And she just kept repeating. She's like, "But I don't want to play." And I was like,
Yeah.
"That is okay." And she got real frustrated at me, and she ripped up her ham, and she's sitting as close as we are right now,
Oh yeah.
and she threw it at my forehead,
Oh.
and it stuck right on my forehead, and
No.
but I was like, it happened so fast. I was just like, "Oh," I was
Yeah.
like, "Do you need some help?"
Ham, yeah.
And she was just like, it caught her so off guard. She's like, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I
Okay.
just got really mad at you.
Ham.
And I thought you weren't letting me play." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Honey, you said you didn't want to play. And I said you don't have to play, but you have to clean up."
Okay.
She's like, "Oh, I don't want to clean up right now." I'm
Okay.
like, "Okay, we can still sit here, but I need to get this
Yeah.
ham off my face."
Yeah.
And so I just
Off
like
my
take it
face,
off my
yeah.
face, and she's
Ham.
like, "I am so sorry. I just
Okay.
got so mad." And I'm like, "I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. Let's make sure like our hands are safe when we're eating, please." And she's like, "Yes." And so it just happened so fast, and it's just, sometimes kids just they want to control their environment. They want to control like what they're understanding. So
Yeah.
the way that she wanted to do that and assert herself was just throw ham on my face. And it was
The
so
ham
cute. It
warrior,
was
yeah.
very fun.
Nice.
It was, yeah, I'll never
I
forget
am the
that.
master of the ham.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
Never. Don't mess around with that, lady.
Yeah. But I could just tell like she was just needed help. Like I wasn't, if I yelled at her, it wouldn't have like helped. She would have had a meltdown.
Yeah.
But it was
Yelling
just
doesn't help.
like, I wanted, actually, when I told that story to a ed tech, she was just like, "Miss Nikki, did you need help?" I was like,
yeah.
I was like, "I did.
Need help, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get ham.
No more
face."
ham, yeah.
No.
Nice.
But
Ugh.
she was a cutie. She was fun.
Nice.
What else? I've had children like, well, they didn't have autism, but they like were very like focused on certain things, and so one kindergartner was really focused on demons.
Wow.
And so he would come in like 1 week. He came in every day.
He
And
want to
was like,
summon the demon, or
he wanted to teach me how to exercise these.
Oh,
demons.
exercise
He
the
wanted to
demons.
teach me
Nice.
how to do that, and he would
Okay.
always check to see what. He's like, why isn't this what we're learning today?
Yeah. Take those demons and do some jumping jacks or whatever.
Yeah, and like I was like, yeah, we're not going to learn how to exercise demons. That doesn't seem like an appropriate
That's great.
skill to learn right now.
That's amazing.
And so
I just imagine a kid just like, what about demons?
Yeah.
How do we do?
One time we were playing, and he's like, "Okay, so I watched this thing on TV, and if somebody has black eyes, that means that they're a demon." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "So what if I come into school and I have black eyes, but I'm teaching you like it's a normal day?"
It's like completely blacked over eyes, or just like black irises or whatever.
I think just like the whole black
eye. Oh, okay.
eye.
Whole black eyes. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I was like, what if I came into school, I started teaching you, and then you notice I had like black eyes, and then I'd have to get rid of you. And I was like, but I'm your teacher. I'm like, I'm your teacher. It's just me. It's just Miss Nikki.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, like I said, you have black eyes, so I have to get rid of you. And I was like, I can't fault you on that logic. Okay. And then it was just the way that he just talked and like presented himself.
What kind of movies was he watching?
A lot of horror movies. A lot of horror movies.
What the heck made you talk to your parents about? Just
so I had
okay, kiddo, let's sit down and watch Evil Dead like 16 times in a row.
I know.
Let's do it, kiddo.
Yeah.
I'm a good parent.
One time, my birthday fell on a Friday, and I had the lunch bunch, And so I was like, guys, I'm so excited. Like on Friday, I'm going to order pizzas and we're going to have a little party, like a birthday party for me. And he just looked at me and he's like, do you have any friends?
Oh.
And I'm like, he's like, you're having a birthday party with us? Like, it hurt me to my core. I was like, yes. I was like, yes, I do have friends,
Oh
but I'm
God, that
also
one hurt.
yeah, I'm like, but I'm also here,
Yeah.
and I love you guys, and I want to have a good time with you.
Oh, well,
Like, I was just
not so
like,
much anymore.
yeah,
Not that guy anymore. It's like
so skeptical. Like, you're like,
those kids, they can hurt.
no.
That one just ooh,
Yeah,
that one got you down there. Yeah.
yeah. So that was all. That was 1 year of working at one classroom. It was really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good friends. So, let's get into it. I asked this like of all the other guests. One thing about important to us autistics are special interests.
Yeah.
So, what are your special interests, Nikki? What do you think?
Man, so I really I like movies, I like media.
Yeah.
So
Same here, man.
I watched The Sopranos during what year did I watch that? I watched that like 2 years ago. And it just like hit something in me because
Yeah, it
so
shows
I had
good.
watched The Wire and I watched Breaking Bad during
Oh, yeah.
COVID. And then I watched Ozark. I made a joke. I was like, yeah, I watched those, and then I had to be on a list because I was like telling of what I was into.
Those
But
are like all gangster movies or
right,
something. Yeah.
right. But to me, there was something fascinating about like the mindset of the mobster.
Yeah.
I
And we can record again. Hey, picking it up where we kind of left off. Got kind of up there, but let's kind of just really dive back into our conversation. You were talking about The Sopranos.
yes. So I started watching The Sopranos after watching some shows about drugs
Yeah.
during the COVID.
Yeah,
So
I remember. I remember like back in, I think it was like 2012, 2013, I guess got obsessed with Breaking Bad. And
yeah.
that
So
was like the greatest show, I swear, just in the history of all television.
yeah, so I watched the first season of Breaking Bad and then it got too intense for me. So I would have somebody watch it and just retell it to me.
Okay. That's a
So
fun way to tell.
yeah.
That's a fun way to tell
So
you.
I knew the
Shows.
background of
Yeah.
it and then I would just get updates. But so when COVID happened, I'd never seen The Wire. So I was like, oh, and I know that's intense. I was
Yeah.
like, I'll watch The Wire to get me prepared to watch Breaking Bad.
Okay.
The Wire is way better and like way more intense
Yeah,
than
it is.
Breaking Bad is. I mean,
Like
in a different
1,000
way.
times,
In
yeah.
a different way.
Yeah, I
And
think like The Wire was on HBO and
Yeah.
Breaking Bad was on like basic cable, so they had to do different stuff.
But also, I do like how The Wire used like real life, like gang members in their
Oh, yeah.
casting. So they brought a lot of authenticity to it.
Okay.
They interviewed a lot of the gang members to like get inspiration and like understand the characters. So then I watched The Wire, Breaking Bad, and then Ozark. And then I always joked that I had to be on a list because I was like, oh, now I'll know how to like own my own drug operation.
Nice.
So then I'd never seen The Sopranos and the 20th anniversary was coming up. So I was like, oh, I should watch that. And that was very different because it talked about like mental health, but it talked a lot about like it talked about the infrastructure of the mob.
Yeah.
But it also kind of dove into like why people did what they did.
Yeah.
And like, oh, their conflict of like, oh, well, my family did this, but this is not really want to do.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's a character who like wants to be a movie, like he wants to write movies.
Yeah.
Which is like very funny.
It's like Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher.
He's the best because I'm Christopher too.
Yeah. I just love how everyone says his name, Christopher.
Yeah.
And so so I really enjoyed The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And then I really enjoy learning through podcasts. So there's a new podcast called The Outfit, and they highlight a mobster every week. and it's done by two journalists.
Okay.
So they present. I wasn't really into this format before, but it's the format of like they present the information to somebody else, and then the other person that's listening can kind of like jump in and ask questions.
Okay.
And so because it's two journalists.
Yeah, we love podcasts, but Tism Report is the best podcast.
Yes,
so
yeah.
never turn away. But
I kind of like that style where like they report, they like do all this research and they report out. And so what I've been noticing in this podcast is like the other host, she will ask like, well, how did this person become this person? And so they go into a lot of like, this is how they were in like the earlier years. Mm. And because like I teach, I do get curious of like how you were saying you like comics. I really do believe in like the multiverse. Okay. So I do kind of believe like early intervention and early like decisions can kind of like create who people can be. Yeah. So I do kind of like how like, okay, so what were the events that led up to like what's the canon event, Chris? What's the canon event?
Watch Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Watch Into the Spider-Verse.
Right. So I think I really enjoy like knowing why people do what they're doing. But the mob to me, it seems so interesting because it's essentially people that not all the time, but people that didn't have a lot of power. They make a community, which I love. Yeah. I love anything that has a good community, but they also kind of look at it as like, this is a systemic failure. We can take advantage of that and we can help our own by taking advantage of that. There's something fascinating about that to me. Yeah. My viewpoint is like, I do like a community that like builds everybody up, but I mean, that's essentially what the mob was doing. They like, tried to like look, they looked across the board and were like, okay, these people were going to help these people by these people helping, by us helping them, they're going to help these people. So it's,
that's kind of like what the mob is, like in the early days of like, I guess the mob or organized crime, it's kind of like just immigrants, immigrants came to America and they didn't have a lot of societal power, be it like Italians or the Jewish people, Irish people. Yeah. And they were really just marginalized communities that didn't have these systems of power. And they just had to do it through crime. Yeah. Because like their existence like kind of was a crime in like many ways. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then I need to do more research on this, but like I am pro union. Yeah. But at the same time, unions can be very like corrupt. So there is like people that like police and
the police unions.
They it's wild because they protect their own and they live under this guise of like, well, if one person's doing it, if like someone calls attention, if this person is doing it, like we're all kind of doing this. So that is like mob mentality, you know, like, oh, well, you can't take us all down, you know? I think that's why,
that's kind of how they got to it. I think like in The Sopranos, I always see like Sopranos as kind of like, it's very kind of like modern, and it's like they have to kind of deal in like the waning days of the mob or the mob influence.
Right.
And I guess whatever like the mob was kind of about. They have to kind of like see it, I guess, diminish or go away at some point. Yeah. And I think Tony Soprano is kind of just spending most of the series lamenting that loss.
Yeah.
And
so I do like that where it's all like philosophical, like why are we following in these footsteps? Like what's the end goal?
Yeah. And like and like the mob bosses, they're like fat and happy and comfortable.
Yeah.
And when like in the beginning, the mob, just when you have to start up the mob, you have to do like crime and be just very dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Tony was kind of like born into it and.
Yeah. Very like he was comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have to do all the like hard stuff.
Right.
But it is funny because when I first watched it, I thought that, like all the women, like the wives, the kids, they're gonna figure it out and they're gonna like get them. And then I was like,
They're gonna
that's
betray Tony.
Yeah, and then I was like,
Yeah.
no, because they're benefiting from this. So
Yeah.
it's just they acknowledge it or not. They just willful, they
Deny
just
it,
like, and then they
kind of that.
and then they and it's kind of what's happening today, where it's like, oh, we acknowledge things are pretty shitty, but we're also benefiting from it, so we're not really going to say anything.
Yeah, kind of.
So,
you know what, like my favorite, what a good genre movie is kind of like, uh, The Wolf of Wall Street,
mm-hmm,
and what it kind of kicks off what I call the post-Reagan gangster movies,
mm-hmm.
which is they still are gangsters and they still commit crimes, but nothing happens to them.
Yeah.
So there's
I think The Wolf of Wall Street does this as well, but they do it in Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like the genre is like they're doing all these criminal activities. The guy is like trying to chase them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know what? We'll help you guys. We'll help you because we know the system. We're going to help you get all.
Yeah.
And then they get like a lesser sentence. Because, they do that in the movie American Gangster. They talk about, what's his name?
I think Denzel Washington.
Yeah, him and I can't remember, Frank Abbott. Frank Abbott? Frank something. And he was like the first like black like Don in the age of like heroin and stuff, because he was like getting it pure, and so he knew. That's the thing too, is like, that's so fascinating to me, is like people that know their product but know it's dangerous, but I'm still gonna produce, like I'm still gonna sell it to people.
Yeah.
And like almost like, honestly, this kind of comes back to like what we were talking about before with Charlie Kirk. Like Charlie Kirk is spewing all this like hateful rhetoric, and I think he knows, like, okay, my days are numbered, but I'm gonna say as much as I can, but like he feels kind of protected. Like these mobsters know that, like, oh, I'm not participating. I'm not doing drugs. I'm selling drugs. Other people are so addicted to drugs. They need it. Yeah. They need this. They need the hateful. But then, it corrupts you, and people that are addicts, like, they just need their fix and they will do whatever it takes. It's a coping mechanism. And so when you are so addicted to your coping mechanism, like, you will do anything to get there.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it all is like also enmeshed. And I think that's why I really like, I think if you understand what's happening at the top, then it kind of, it doesn't excuse people that are making poor choices, but you can kind of see like how it all plays in.
Yeah.
And like, oh yeah, if someone's comfortable with their life, they're going to do whatever it takes to keep that comfort level. Because a lot of people don't like change. They don't want to change the way that they're living.
Yeah. You just need like that comfort and even that like enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just as long as you have that, then you'll just say whatever you want to justify it in your head.
Yeah. There is I'm blanking on his name, but there was a Japanese mobster, Ken something, and he stayed true to, like, he wasn't officially inducted, like he didn't end up becoming like a made man in the mob, but the
Yakuza, is that them?
No, he was in the Chicago mob. And he like stayed really true to his like tribe, his like the people that he was,
the discipline.
Yeah, but people kept thinking that he was gonna turn.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, no, I don't believe in snitches. Like, I don't believe in that. Yeah. So he stayed
no snitching. Yeah.
And there's something about that too, where comedians were not like that. We gotta talk it out. We have to call if
We
anything,
have to call, yeah.
if anything troubling is happening, we're like, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that where I'm like, oh, I don't think I could ever be in the mob, but I just am fascinated by it, like
Yeah.
from a psychological level.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you like in the mob, do you think you'd have like a mob nickname or something?
Ooh, Naughty Nikki.
Naughty Nikki.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, probably.
Amazing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
call you Naughty Nikki from now on.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. I guess there's
Classic.
so I'm early in this podcast. There's only been like 4 episodes, but I guess they're going to talk about more like how the mob influenced different things, which is really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Like they built the Twin Towers with mob money.
Okay.
Like that's how Trump, his father was like a real estate mogul. And I was listening to one about like Russia. There was like a Russian mob tie to like Chicago.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Same in Vegas, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is all mob money.
Yeah.
Just built on those foundations.
I guess like Joe DiMaggio. And I was like, that makes so much sense. So I do like having knowledge because I'm like, oh, that tracks. Like that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
What did he do again?
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't learned, but
teased you.
I know, but
they're teasing you, man.
But when they talked about the Twin Towers, they're talking about like New York and like like the DiMaggio family. I'm like, oh, okay, see,
okay.
I mean, I don't have a strong affinity to baseball, but like, it's just interesting to learn certain facts about people. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so did the Kennedys. They kind of have mob association, like a little bit.
Yeah.
And Frank Sinatra. And
Yeah.
Just
a lot. Yeah.
I think if you go to like Las Vegas, there's like a mob museum, so that's probably a fun time.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go to that someday.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, vacation.
Yeah.
So you're watching like any other movies? Like, what are your favorite movies or television shows or video games or anything?
I'm into horror movies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I typically watch them all year round, but
you know what I just saw recently? Have you seen The Long Walk?
I saw the trailer for it, and it disturbed me.
Yeah,
the way that they frame the trailer makes it look like, oh, we're bonding together. We're gonna do this great adventure, and then you get like the guy, like one of the like commanders, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot you if you stop walking. I was like,
played by Mark Hamill.
Really?
Really?
Fuck.
Mr. Luke Skywalker himself.
Yeah. And I guess it's based on a Stephen King novel.
So he is the king of horror.
Yeah, when I mentioned it to a few friends that like horror, they're like, "Oh yeah, that book is like one of my favorite books." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Disturbed that I thought. You liked it?
Yeah, I love that movie. Stephen King is the king. It is just ratcheting up your anxiety.
Yeah.
I swear to God. Plus, it actually does have that like, just we're young men and we're gonna bond, it's gonna be camaraderie,
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me, like how they go to war, they go to Vietnam, like in the Vietnam War, and then they just keep like walking and walking, we're gonna do it. And it kind of has that Stand By Me vibe, because they really do kind of bond and form these tight bonds with people, but and then it all comes down.
Yeah.
So as they just keep going and keep walking, and they just keep framing to themselves like we're gonna do it, but also I liked Squid Game, so it was basically a lot like Squid Game too.
I didn't watch that, but when I saw the trailer, it like disturbed me, and it was right before I was talking to my dad, who also is in the military.
Yeah,
and I just went on a tirade of like the military is like they're just what was the word I used? I was like, it's predatory. Like predatory. I'm like, you guys are all like, you guys are just. You guys have this ego and you think you're gonna do great things, and then they're just getting you. Yeah, you're gonna get got.
Ooh.
Yeah, my dad was not super like he played it cool. Okay. I
Yeah.
know how you think, but also like we did good stuff. I was
Yeah.
just like, um,
My dad was in the Navy, so
yeah, yeah. Do you ever talk to him about that?
oh, all the time.
Yeah,
He never fired a gun. He worked on like planes,
yeah.
on the aircraft carriers, and like I think like the worst story he has is somebody fell off the boat.
Yeah, yeah. My dad was like a medic, so
Oh,
technically good stuff. But like, I guess there was like a false thing that could have like been the start of the Cold War. So my dad thinks he was like part of the Cold War, and I'm
okay.
like, that's so delusional.
When was that? Or
It was like in the early '80s, like
okay.
late '70s, early '80s. Um, got it. I
It's
don't.
just
I well
just a
actually,
half remembered bullshit story.
yeah.
Okay.
So I went to a small high school that had ROTC,
Yeah.
and a lot of my friends were in it, but they were doing it for an easy grade. And they were like, no, it
Mhm.
also like teaches us discipline. Like nobody was like trying to be in the military. And then there was this guy I knew from Texas who was all about he was gonna pursue a military career. So he just was like on the other end of the spectrum of it. And
Mhm.
so I just never like I know we already talked politics, but
Yeah.
it's just the way they get people to go in the military is so interesting. Of like, we're gonna promise
Yeah.
you get to travel and you get to you get to get money for college after. I'm like, yeah, but you also have to do like you have to listen to so many people
Yeah.
and not do your
Not good for us autistics, I
yeah.
guess.
So I was like, I don't like that. We do
Yeah.
ask my dad a lot about like boot camp.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I do like horror movies. And I
Have you seen anything recently, or what's your favorite?
yeah, so I have watched um Long Legs recently. I had
Oh
like a
yeah.
really stressful day and I
Yeah.
came home at like 4 p.m. and watched Long Legs in the daytime.
Oh, that one.
It's good.
Well,
It's
that one's
good.
up there,
It's
man.
good. And then I watched The Monkey.
Oh
He's
yeah, I
the
saw
same
that one too.
director. That was so funny.
That was a funny one.
So when I watched I felt guilty for laughing so hard.
Yeah.
And then I was texting with another comedian and I'm like, maybe this will be my because I like to have a theme sometimes during Halloween of like what movies I'm gonna watch. I was like, maybe I
Yeah.
gotta find funny horror movies to
Yeah.
watch.
Horror comedy. That is a specific genre.
It is.
That's hard to do, you know.
Yeah.
You know
Um.
what? You know what I saw? This isn't a movie, but it's kind of like a play. They had a musical based on the movie Saw. Have you seen that?
No, but that would be
That
fun.
was amazing. I saw it. It was like a live show. So
That's cool.
that was like fun. They did some like jokes. They did songs. It
Yeah.
was funny. It was horror. So
To make
they
more
really did that.
horror
Yeah.
musicals because they have Repo the Genetic Opera.
Yeah.
It's not really funny. It's kind of dark,
Yeah.
but that's a good one.
Does Sweeney Todd count?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Sondheim, who's a
Yeah.
good musician
Yeah.
or not musician like
Playwright.
playwright. Yeah. Um, I also I watched that. So they have the movies where it's now in the like the public domain.
Yeah.
So
Public domain.
yeah, so I watched the Popeye horror movie,
Oh, okay.
and that was real dumb.
Is that
But it was
like
like fun dumb, like bad dumb.
was that like move? Okay, so tell me
So
about it. Like, what was that movie about? So it's like Popeye, but it's
yeah,
also
so these kids
horror.
so these
It's
kids find a abandoned warehouse, and apparently there was a contamination of spinach, of canned spinach.
okay.
So this guy um married a woman named Olive Oil, which is very
Nice.
canon, had a baby, and then the woman was a whistleblower for how it was contaminated and they killed her. And
Okay.
the baby got adopted, and then Popeye went insane,
Okay.
but he kept eating all the spinach, and so
Okay.
he got real jacked and real
Nice.
demented in the head, and then just was killing people in this warehouse. And then, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
these teens come to visit this warehouse because they heard that like I think they were investigating something, and this newer lady, part of the group, she didn't know who her parents were. And so she ended up being Popeye's daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That's a twist, man.
Yeah, but it was so like Popeye was just like picking off these teens in an empty warehouse, and it if you like video games, it is like very reminiscent of like video game. Like you're like, there's all these like twists and turns, and then like he comes out of the shadow, and they have to like jump over things. So I enjoyed it, and I just made fun of it the whole time with friends.
Yeah.
And then I heard that like the same people made that Winnie the Pooh one.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Right?
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so the it's real dark, and then I ended up shutting it off because it was just so dumb.
Yeah.
But like essentially what happens at the beginning is like the story of Christopher Robin, and he makes all these friends and he's bringing them food, but then he grows up and he has to go to college. So the food that he was bringing them, they don't know how to find food, so they start like starving, and then they eat Eeyore.
Oh, dang.
And then because of that tragedy, it like fucks them in the head. Like they're like, I can't believe we did that to our friend. Then they get angry of humans. So they're like, instead of being, oh yeah, and this is the beginning, like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
That's 5 minutes. You've described 5 minutes to us. Okay.
And they're describing
There's a lot.
They're describing it in like storybook form. So they're doing drawings and like
that's like what
like
they did.
flip art. Like they're doing flip art.
They did that in like the original Winnie the Pooh movie. So if you watch that,
gotcha. Oh, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
So then they are like, because Christopher Robin abandoned them and they had to eat their friend, they just became violent and they didn't talk to anybody. So then the next 5 minutes is Christopher Robin bringing his fiance to be like, I want you to meet my childhood friends. And Christopher Robin doesn't know any about this.
Okay.
And then they kill his fiance in front of him and then torture him.
Whoopsie daisies.
And that's like the first 10 minutes. So when someone was describing the movie to me, I thought that's
10 minutes.
I thought that was going to be the whole movie. And then flash forward to like, oh, in the 100 Acre Wood, there's like so many disappearances. Why? And then these like women are like, we're going to go on a retreat. And that's when they like start dying. And I was like, I don't want to watch that. That's so dumb.
Okay.
I was like, I'd rather watch the psychological abuse of animals.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So
you didn't do it right.
Yeah, so I stopped watching it. But I guess they made one about Steamboat Willie. And I do like a horror movie on a boat. That is really, because it's like, it's almost like Alien, where like you're on a contained environment. I like that. I
gives you that, like, what's it called? Claustrophobia.
Yeah. I like that kind of tension.
Yeah.
So though I watched those recently. Cool. What other movie did I watch recently? I watched something that wasn't horror, but it was pretty good. It'll come to me. But yeah, so one year I watched a bunch of movies that kind of related to animals, but I did this like funny like rating of like, I rated them based on how many animals were in it.
Okay.
So like Poltergeist, I watched that, and they have a dog, and so I was like, oh, I was like, that's
one animal. Yeah.
That's 1 out of 10. And then I watched a what's his name? The Italian director that did Suspiria, Di Argento, and that one was all about cats. Okay. So I was like, oh, this is like 20 out of 10. I was like, that's a good movie. That was a good movie. A lot of cats. Yeah. And then I watched one that was really good, but it had no animals, so I was like, I'm so sorry. You get 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10. But that was about the movie. So you know how in the 80s they had this like resurgence of like slasher movies, and so they had to censor them. They had a group of people like watch
Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street
kind of stuff. Yeah, so those are big. Oh, what was it? There was a term for it. Get at me in the comments if you remember what the title is. It's like, yeah, but they so in Britain they had like a group of people. This is true story. So the group of people would like watch all these like horror movies that people would submit, and they'd have to take notes and be like, you need to cut all of this out if you want to get an R rating. Because normally they were like, they would have been X-rated or like, mature.
NC-17.
Yeah. So they would have to, this is true, they would actually like have to go through. And so this movie that I watched was based on those people. And then this woman had like a shady past and she's watching this horror movie and she thinks one of the actors is her sister. And then she's like, I have to find my sister. So she like starts stalking this woman.
Okay.
And then she like thinks she's in the movie and she's like reliving her like trauma. So I do like a good horror movie like that where like it is horror, but there is like some psychological things going on and you're like, is this real? Is what she's experiencing real?
Psychological horror.
Yeah, it's so good. Did you watch Skinamarink?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god.
Tell us about it.
No one has seen this movie and it's on Hulu, but it's like super low budget and it's like handheld camera.
Okay.
And
one of those found footage movies.
Yeah, but the way that it's shot is like either super low, so you're just seeing like feet.
You love the feet.
And then so you're so like confused, like what's happening? Or it's done from like really up high, like so it's done from like the ceiling and like looking down like a hallway. And so it's supposed to be they do it like that for the perspective of like this is what the children are experiencing.
Okay.
And I really like that. That's all I'll tell about it. It was really good. But it's like it's kind of slow. I think like the less you know about it the better, but just know that it's shot very differently. And so you can't really like look away, which is fine.
Yeah.
Some movies I think like when you watch movies, are you on your phone or do you try to make a conscientious choice of like I'm going to stay off my phone?
It depends. There are some things like I watch like television shows where I do say, you know what, I'm going to be on my phone this entire time.
Yeah.
And there are some movies where I'm like, nope, I'm going to pay attention.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you use subtitles when you watch TV or movies?
Never.
Really?
Really?
Okay. I love subtitles.
Okay.
And I'm glad that I started doing it because at first I didn't like it because I was like I'm going to focus too much on the subtitles and not what's actually happening in the movie or on screen.
Okay.
But it actually helps me pay attention more because I can read a little bit faster and then kind of like watch what's happening. So it kind of like helps my brain like process the whole picture.
Okay.
But I have realized, I just made this realization the other day, is why I like karaoke is because it's basically subtitles for songs.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I am listening to the people sing the songs because I'm in the room with them.
Karaoke's fun, yeah.
I'm in the room with them. But at the same time, I am not always looking at lyrics of songs. So when someone picks a song that I don't really know, I'm like, oh, this is lyrics. And I'm so excited. And I follow the lyrics along. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm not watching the person sing, really.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm going to. And so it reminds me.
That was really cool. Like, you ever, like, listen to a song and you listen to, like, the lyrics and you think you know the lyrics and then you look up the lyrics and then, that was not what I had at all.
Yeah. I had one of those like coffee table books as a kid that was like misheard lyrics.
Yeah.
The like, I think there's like a Led Zeppelin or a song that's like, excuse me while I kiss the sky. But it was like, excuse me while I kiss this guy.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was like a book all about that. And it was like illustrated.
Also, what if he was going to kiss a guy? Who cares? Yes. That kind of aged poorly, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I like horror. I think I'm gonna do more like comedy horror.
Yeah. That's a whole genre.
Yeah, like what's the one? I really like the old Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
Those are fun. The best. And then I think I'm gonna watch Dale Tucker versus Evil again. Okay. That one's funny. Because that's just like weird circumstance movie. That's a fun genre of like, oh, we think we know it's happening, but this is what's really happening.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other funny horror movies. A lot of 80s movies are just like funny and they're not like supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
So I think like The Monkey intentionally was supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Because that's a good one where like
Yeah, it's like
the tension instead of like breaking the tension with like horrible things,
Yeah.
it's like it does it on a laugh. So like you build all that tension and then the release comes from like a laugh and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, I think like in the monkey, it's like once you get the violence,
Mhm.
it's like just over the top and
Yeah.
insane,
Yeah.
and that's not how things work.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it comes from. So
Right. Yeah.
it's just like that. There's a lot of stuff and violence, and just
Yeah.
none of it makes any sense. So
Yeah.
that's where that comedy comes from.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, like when you're not expecting someone to die by like all these like mishaps, that is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
you know how they had a book and they made it into a movie, I think, like 1,000 Ways to Die. Did you ever?
I don't think so.
So
Is
there
that
was
like a TV show?
Oh, I think it was a TV show.
Oh, okay.
So it was a book, and it was just like this. They like tried to like fight with an ATM machine, and then they
Okay.
wrestled it, and it crushed them to death. And I'm like,
Okay.
that's so stupid and silly.
Well, you gotta get into that ATM machine.
Yeah.
You gotta get all the money out.
Yeah. So
'Cause
things
I
like
need
that.
money.
I'm like,
Give me money, ATM machine.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
I think like in the monkey, like the movie, I think the one that just really got me was like they had like the pool and it was electrified. Just like, hey, there's a wire in the pool, it's gonna be electrified. And then the woman like dives into the pool, she doesn't know, and she just explodes. What the? That is not how that works.
Yeah.
She would just be electrified or something. And now she's just a pile of goo.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember the other one I watched. It was horror. I watched Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And that was Eli Roth, which I totally forgot about until what I tend to do sometimes when I watch movies is like I'm not going to be on my phone, but then if a movie like really it makes me curious, I will go onto IMDb and I'll like research like who is that? How do I know them?
Yeah.
Who directed this? Who wrote this? So when I was watching it, I had forgotten that Eli Roth had wrote it, or directed it too. So then I was like, oh, that tracks. That was a good one. That wasn't funny.
Okay.
Maybe it was funny to me, but yeah. But that was a good one. That was fun. And I think they're making a sequel, which will be cool.
Nice.
But the first 15 minutes is literally like a massacre that happened on Black Friday, and it was so realistic. I was like, oh, this could really happen.
Yeah, probably.
Have you ever done Black Friday before?
Once or twice. I know, like, there was this one time when this one year I was working at Best Buy, and I worked on Black Friday. And,
crazy.
yeah, that was probably it. It wasn't too bad, but I did security.
Okay. So, one time I did Black Friday, like as a shopper, but I thought, so it was at the mall. I thought what happened is like you go into the mall and you're warm, and then the store is open, and then you get to like choose which store you're gonna go into. But no, they had you're outside, and I was like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah,
and you're like,
wait until like midnight or whatever.
Yeah, it's cold, so cold.
Yeah.
And then somebody tipped over one of the trash cans, and I kept being pushed into it, and I like couldn't move forward.
Yeah.
And I was like, my first thought was just like, oh, this is how people get trampled to death.
Yeah.
This is how I die.
Yeah.
This is how I die. And then someone like pulled me to the side and around the trash. I was like, oh, thank you.
Saved you, Nikki. Saved you.
I know. And then after that, I was like, I don't like that. I don't want to do that ever again.
Yeah, that reminds me. I went to like metal shows, and they would have like the pit.
Yeah.
And I would go in the pit quite a lot. A lot of
like,
stories of that.
Yeah. I mean, have you always been this tall?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, like I have done the pit like a handful of times, and I always got bruised. Which that's fine. That's kind of the general gist of it.
Yeah.
But now, even if I'm on the outside, I always have to be very careful because people just get so caught up in it, and like they're not looking at who's around them.
Yeah.
And I went to a emo show, and this lady, she was like your height, and she was just like pushing everybody like out of the way for people. and like protecting them. And so
Yeah.
I was like, "You're like Mosh Mama." So can I smoke you up?
Mosh.
She's like, "No one's ever called me that, and I would love to take your weed." I was like, "Like
Nice.
saved me."
Nice.
But
They should make like T-shirts that say Mosh Mama, and then
oh, I know. They were like they
Nice.
traveled from like her and her friend traveled from like an hour away for emo night.
Oh yeah. Was it just like emo night? Like where was this?
It was at Aura.
Oh yeah.
So they were doing emo night like every 3 months or every 4 months.
Okay.
And it was their 10-year anniversary. So I went to the
Nice.
first one 10 years ago. That was fun.
Damn.
I was at a friend's bachelorette party, and we were like around the old port. And so I was in like almost like not a cocktail dress, but like a little more casual than that. But I showed up to emo night and then went back and hung out with my friends. So like the 10-year anniversary, I was like, I have to go. I have to go. Yeah, because one of my friends is like sings for an emo band, so that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's their band, or is their band cool, or do they do covers?
Yeah, they just do covers. They just do covers. Well, his
Nice.
name is Dustin Saucier, and so his band back in the day was Dustin Saucier and the Sad Bastards, and so
Nice.
he wrote a lot of music, and then he did a lot of cover bands, and but he also did like acoustic stuff, and I think he was in another band. I used to be really into like the music scene in Portland, and now everybody has family, so they don't perform as much. But I did recently go to a David Lynch music tribute show, and they did like it as like a round robin kind of thing. So people, so it wasn't like bands per se, but like people are in bands are like, okay, for this song, you're gonna play guitar, you're gonna play drums, you're gonna do vocals, and then they would do a new song and they would switch people.
Okay.
Or someone who was on drums may also play guitar, so they like move to like acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Or move to like vocals. So that was really cool. And I almost cried like 3 times during it because like all the songs they picked were like so emotional. Or they'd be like, "This is what David Lynch means to me." And I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And it was at Blue, and I knew all the musicians, so that was really cool. It felt like a reunion.
Nice.
So that was fun. Yeah, I hadn't seen a lot of them in like 5 or 6, like like pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I've also been going to like Clash of the Titans. Do you know what that is?
No, what's that? Tell us about it.
Okay, so they used to do a series, and they initiated it. So it used to be at Empire, and they would do 2 bands, like a cover band. So they would do like 2 bands, and they would take turns. So they would do like 3 songs, and then the other band would come and do 3 songs, and then you could vote on who won. And it was super popular. And then and so they did the first one was Chapel Roan versus Lady Gaga.
Okay.
And then they did Stone Temple Pilots versus Audio Slave. And they did the music of Back to the Future versus the music of Dirty Dancing. That was pretty cool. So they do like stuff like that. And it's like local musicians doing that.
Cool.
And that was at Oxbow. Oxbow's a really good place for music.
Where's that?
It's on Washington Ave.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if they would do comedy there. It'll be fun. They'd have to like make it like actual like seating, because like for concerts they just like empty out all the seating.
Yeah. So they just stand and.
Yeah. I like standing for comedy.
No.
I don't.
Yeah, nobody does.
No. I think it's weird. I mean, it's nice when it sells out and you have to stand. That's okay.
Yeah. But do it to somebody else.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we have to perform.
Mm-hmm.
So other people can stand.
Yeah.
We're not standing.
I know.
But yeah.
It's nice to have like a green room or like some like special seating for comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really need to sit. Sometimes like rock clubs, they just do that for comedy, but yeah, I think you need seating.
Yeah. Empire was really good for music back in the day, and now it's doing pretty well for comedy.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I think I live next to a bunch of breweries in Riverside, so I think I'm gonna approach them this winter to do some produce some shows.
Nice.
I think I want to do shows instead of a mic. Yeah, but we have good enough mics.
Yeah,
like it's a good group of people that are running them. I don't want to interfere and have people. Although Tuesday nights could use an open mic.
Yeah. Don't they have one at Blue?
Yeah, but it starts at 9:30.
Yeah.
That's freaking late. But they do online signups now, which is nice. I just learned that. I got there at 6:15 to sign up, and she's like, "Oh, we already have 8 people signed up and 5 people on the wait list." I'm like, I'll be on the wait list. Thank you so much.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, but yeah, but I think more people should go to Munjoy Hill Tavern. Everybody go to Munjoy Hill Tavern Sunday nights. Sign up at 6:30. You can do 2 mics on Sundays.
Yes. So, why should they go there? Is it awesome there?
Okay. Okay, let me make a case for Munjoy Hill Tavern. Okay. If you are a good comic that has good writing, but not a lot of energy, you might not do super well. It is a hard crowd, but the people that like the comedy really enjoy high energy. So it is a good place for you to practice bringing your energy up and maintaining the attention of the crowd. That is a good skill that any comic should have.
Yeah.
Because it really hurts to watch when someone has the best written jokes but low energy, and then the crowd does not pay attention. Because I want to pay attention, and it is distracting when someone is not paying attention and your jokes are good. So I try to go there with the intention of I'm just gonna be very loud and manic energy.
Yeah.
And that works a lot.
Yeah, that's always a balance.
Yeah. So yeah.
For me, I think I'm a low energy guy.
Yeah.
I have to say that. Yeah. But I guess I really need to work on it.
But
yeah.
It depends on people's
It
style.
depends, yeah.
Yeah. And if you know that a crowd is going to be rowdy, why would you go there every week?
Yeah.
I get that. But the same comics show up every week, which is really fun. We don't get a lot of new comics there. So I just want to
yeah.
I mean, it's fun to do two mic. If you're a new comic, it's very thrilling to do 2 mics in one night. That's how you can get better at your craft. What's with Malcolm Gladwell? Do a 10,000 hours, and then you'll be a master of your craft. So yeah, I remember back in the day on Mondays when I used to host at Be Good, and then they had Blue. It was a show, and then there was the Monday open mic at Empire. So you technically could do three shows.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's the best. That was the glory days.
Yeah, back in the day, I think in New York, they still you can do 6 shows a night.
Yeah.
And they still kind of do that, so it's literally just rotating, and you gotta
and I think
rotate around to the clubs and just follow a pack of people.
Yeah, whenever Portland can feel like New York, that's always fun.
Yeah.
We already did it with food. Now let's do a comedy.
Food, yeah.
I think though it is interesting because I have friends in the drag queen community, and I have friends in the burlesque community and music community and comedy community. There's not a ton of overlap, which is really sad.
Okay.
I love that we can sustain all of those communities.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wish we could be a little bit more cohesive.
Do you think it's different skill sets or?
Yeah, but also musicians I know have to practice a lot all together.
Yeah.
So the nights that we're out at an open mic, they're at their friend's place practicing. Our practice is just out at bars.
Yeah.
And then
practice is doing the open mics.
Yeah. And then if they're doing shows, right, we're doing our shows on weekends.
Yeah.
So that I understand why there's not a ton of overlap of that, but just I wish there was more collaboration of because I've done comedy at burlesque shows.
Yeah.
I got asked to do it, and it was really fun because it was like a donut themed burlesque show. I also got
Nice.
asked to do like the mental health one, and I didn't feel super strong in my mental health material. Because I was like, oh, all I would talk about is sad things.
Yeah.
Now I have enough material where I could do it.
Yeah.
But I think a theme night, at High Fidelity, they're going to do themed nights, which will be really fun.
Okay.
But we'll see who sticks with it, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. Like, in High Fidelity, like, I'm just so sad because the open mic there is ending. Like,
So, nothing is in stone. Comedy won't end. It'll just be ending under Carlo.
yeah,
But,
like he did like his trivia and comedy open mic, so
Yeah.
going to miss that.
Yeah. But there'll be more comedy
figure
every
it out.
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, but
Yeah. I talked to Dante about like having a like a co-op do it, or like a group of people that just rotate. So we're
he's
still in talks about that.
He's cool. He's pretty chill about it. So
Yeah, and he's all about artists doing stuff there. So.
Yeah.
I heard their musical open mic is really popular.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is like,
that seems like a good place for a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, is like I bitch about, oh, why isn't there a lot of overlap? And then I'm like, I've never been to the musical open mic there. Even though I love that venue.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know, it'd be cool like if we had like variety shows or something. Like just kind of like a mixed show where like here's musicians, here's burlesque drag, here's comedy, here's a bunch of stuff.
So they do, I actually just went this past week, they do Work It Wednesday at Gino's, and that's, I guess anybody can sign up for it like a month in advance or 2 weeks in advance, and then they choose what the lineup's going to be.
Okay.
And they do, some people have done comedy there, but essentially it's just like how to practice like burlesque and drag if you are like really interested in that. So it's literally just like a amateur drag and burlesque show.
Yeah.
And that was really fun to watch.
Yeah. You know what's like fun? I guess there used to be kind of like this art form called vaudeville. Do you remember vaudeville?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was like what they did in like 1800s and like 1920s or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was literally just like comedy, music,
Mm-hmm.
just singing, drag, burlesque, funny, so a lot of different stuff. So
yeah, it's like the first form of like indie comedy.
Yeah, variety. Yeah, so
yeah.
So I miss that. We don't do that anymore.
I know.
It's all the internet and all television and
the place I first started doing comedy, my second time going to that venue, they had a Monty Python night, and so people would recreate Monty Python sketches in between comedy sets.
Nice.
That was really fun.
So what was it like the first time you did comedy?
I had written a ton for like a year, and then I matched with somebody on OkCupid because they were a comedian, and I just picked their brain about comedy. That's why I matched with them. I just picked their brain about comedy, and then learned that that's where the open mic was. So then I was like, looked at all my writing and picked the best stories.
Do you think that OkCupid guy was a bit disappointed?
He actually, I've been friends with him, and him and his girlfriend.
Good, so I guess so.
Yeah, so then
I just imagine like.
Oh, I see. Like
I want to go. I want to go on a date, you know?
Yeah.
I want to date a nice lady, but this lady just wants to talk about comedy.
Yeah.
She wants to use me for open mic advice. And
I think I did say that up front, where I was like, I'm so sorry. This might sound real weird. I just want to talk to you about comedy.
Okay.
They were open. Yeah, they were open to it.
It was like, oh.
I wanted
to fuck. Okay. I'm just joking, but go on.
Yeah. But so I did that. I did a bunch of jokes. I had like a notebook or an index card, and I practiced really hard and got a lot of good laughs. And then I don't think I told a lot of those stories after. I think I told like 1 or 2 stories after, because I realized like telling stories can only get you so far. Like the way I was telling it, it was almost like you had to be there stories, which is not the best story.
Oh yeah, that's gotta be tough.
Yeah, so
I think that's my advice. Just avoid you have to be there story.
yeah.
If you're saying you had to be there, I guess, then on stage, I think maybe just reevaluate things.
Like the stories I told the first time, like I practiced them really well.
Yeah.
But then I thought that to continue on and getting new material, it would have been because the writing I did for that past year was just like stories of you have to be there. So I was looking back at that and being like, oh, I could tell this story, and I wasn't telling them appropriately.
Yeah.
So I didn't do super well.
Storytelling is like an art, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta be really get to it.
Yeah.
Make us be there.
Yeah. So
That's what you do really well now.
Yeah. So
Make us be there.
Thank you. Yeah. So I didn't do super well for like my first like 2 or 3 months, but then I like got better and better at it. And like I just kind of listened to how other people are presenting things. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
So I know in comedy they say that a lot of people try to like emulate somebody else. And so I really liked Mike Birbiglia, and so I was.
Yeah,
I think I was trying to do that, and then I was like, oh, that's not really your strong suit.
Yeah.
So I actually at work, it's funny. I will like tell the same story like 3 or 4 times depending on who I'm with, and then I feel bad if someone's already heard the story. I'll be like, they've already heard this.
Bill Denman, yeah.
But but yeah, now I'm better at like I can kind of write and riff, and then I can tell. I was actually talking to somebody about this. I can kind of hear it in my voice if I'm riffing, and knowing like you're going off book, but now you got to like tie it back to what you've already talked about for the audience. And so that's kind of fun to just like hear the cadence and being like, oh, this was not thought out. And sometimes that's fun to just like riff. But then I'm like, but you gotta like kind of tie it back together.
Yeah. Have you done like the improv comedy?
Yeah, I've done improv.
Yeah, plenty. I did that in college, so
yeah,
that'll really help you out. So.
Yeah, I've done improv. I did improv in high school, and I kept applying.
Nice.
For our troupe in college. Our college troupe was so good, and I applied every year and never made it. But everybody that made it, I was so happy for them. I was like, oh wait, you're way funnier than I am. That's so good. You're gonna do great. So that was cool. So I don't mind like going on the fly as long as like, well, because sometimes I'll know what I'm going to talk about, and then something will happen that night, like during the show, that reminds me of something, and I'll try to riff on that. Or like sometimes it doesn't happen a lot, where I'll like write like callbacks because I'm like, oh, I don't have enough for 5 minutes. Let me just do some callbacks.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I can do like a few bullet points and be like, I have enough to talk about this subject for a little bit. Yeah.
It's already interesting. So we've been going quite a while. Want to wrap it up?
Sounds good.
Thanks, man. I'm just so glad you were able to come and talk. Yeah. This was amazing. So thank you for joining us. This has been Nikki Martin. I've been your host, Chris Fritz. This has been the Tism Report. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.